Hello and welcome to the day!
Thank you for spending your time with us.
I'm Jake.
I'm Joel. Welcome back to another episode of Jake and Joel Are Magic. We have got a new format, and it's called Pioneer. Did I nail the name?
Pioneer.
It's not called Frontier like I keep saying. We are going to talk about our sleeper picks. For which set are we talking about this video, Jake?
We are talking about Born of the Gods.
Born of the Gods, that is correct. Real quick before we get into it, if you like the video by the end of it, we would appreciate if you hit like and subscribe. Only if you're logged in. Don't create an account. If you're just here to enjoy the video, do that. Let's talk about Born of...
We appreciate you spending your time with us.
Absolutely. Let's talk about Born of the Gods. These are our sleeper picks. How we picked these was we went set by set and looked at the cards that were around $1 or less with a few exceptions. And we tried to see which of those cards that we found were very impactful in the standard when they were standard legal. Those became some of our sleeper picks, plus some of our pet cards from those sets that we really loved seeing. And that's how we developed these. So you're not going to see the most powerful cards, the cards that everyone's already talking about, that have already spiked up to 10, 15 bucks in the initial hype. These are the ones that are still cheap and that they could make an impact if they get picked up. Jake, did I hit the nail on the head with that?
I think you did, man. I think that's it. Let's just get right into it. You see the card, it's Searing Blood.
Yep.
This is a card that, it deals damage to a creature and then it deals damage to face.
Yep,
so I think
absolutely.
in a burn deck, this is going to be probably a main deck card. There's a lot of important X2s or less.
Yeah,
so,
this is one of those that starts in your main board and is probably one of your first cuts when you go into sideboarding for games 2 and 3. However, if you get a pair up against, a deck with Golden Goose or Landlord Elf or Mystic, Elvish Mystic on turn 1, this is the kind of card that suddenly gets a ton of value in your burn deck. This is one, obviously, it's an uncommon. You're going to want to look into foils from a finance perspective. But if a mono-red burn deck gets through and becomes one of the top tier decks, which I think it will, because we have seen standard mono-red. Yeah, exactly.
Red deck wins is the thing. Like, this could play right alongside Cavalcade Calamity.
Right.
And it's just like 3 damage to the creature's controller. I mean,
when you think about it, since Kaladesh Amonkhet times, we've had a mono-red deck in standard, and it's been consistently in standard until, like, now with the release of Eldraine. So there's got to be enough cards in this card pool to make the entirety of mono red work as long as you find the right curve,
Yeah, this is it's going to be a finely tuned red deck that pops up.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Hopefully it starts with Bomat Couriers. I'm sitting on a lot of those, and I'd love for this to fix my mistake of buying into those too late. Let's move to the next card, which is Courser of Crufix. Holy crap, did this card show up in every Pro Tour list around the time when it was in Standard. This card just has so much text on it. It's a 2/4, and we've talked about in other videos how 3-butts are going to be it's going to be more dangerous to play a 3-butt in this format because of cards like Lightning Strike and all of the damage Born of the Gods, Anger of the Gods, excuse me, that can take down 3-butts. So it already has that going for it.
This card is so pesky, and it is so good. This is as close as you can get to playing Oracle of Moldiah without playing Oracle of Moldiah.
Right.
It's kind of like baby Oracle. It's really good.
Now, this one does have, I think, a little more price attached to it than some of the other picks because it can be played in Commander, but it's going to blow up if a good mono green or maybe like green blue with Oko deck pops up and is playing well in Pioneer.
Oh, this would play so brutally well alongside Oko. It's just gross.
Oh yeah, it's very, very bad. Moving to Chromanticore. Wow, look at this. That's a 5-cost one of each mana card right there.
Oh, dude, man, this card is. It's so funny because this card is like so trolly. It shouldn't even be on this list, but it's super cheap, and it's just like one of these cards. It's a mythic, and there's a lot of fair ways to get to 5 colors in this format. People are doing it in standard. If they're doing it in standard, they can sure as shit do it in this format. So.
Easily, absolutely. The only thing I count as a downside for this card, because it does have a 4-butt, which again I think is very important in this format, or will be important going forward. It's a creature enchantment, and creature enchantments normally don't find their ways into the top tier decks, because essentially what you're doing is offering your opponent a 2-for-1. And this card doesn't have hexproof, and so I think that is its downside, is that it doesn't provide
also the
protection.
Bestow is like, when it comes off of the creature, it becomes a creature again itself. So even if the creature gets removed, you now have this big, kind of bulky, lots of abilities.
Yeah, just keyword soup down there for sure. And so
for sure.
it's definitely an interesting one, and one that probably, for fun, people will brew with. And if it gets competitive, that would be shocking to me, but it exists, and
there's a fun combo with this card and Soulflayer
from Fate
Reforged. Yeah, where if you exile this card using Soulflayer's Delve, it's gonna get all of these abilities.
Right.
So it's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah, that could be a cool combo to run, because it would be way easier to get it out faster that way. Brimaz, King of Oreskos. This is an interesting one. It's got
and this
that
card is
all-important
like
4-butt.
$6 to $8
Yeah.
as well.
Yep.
It is worth noting that this is a little bit more expensive, but it's still low compared to how good it was when it was in Standard and it was regularly played.
Absolutely. I mean, we've, for the last year, again, like the mono red, we've had a mono white deck kicking around with the protection card that gives everything indestructible and +1/+1 counters if it's on your main phase, and cards like Venerated Loxodon that give everything +1/+1 when they help cast that creature. This plays into that strategy perfectly. It's already a 3/4 Vigi for 3, so solid right out of the gate.
Yeah.
But then it's going to be bringing 1/1s in as long as it's involved in combat in any way. It doesn't even have to just be attacking. So yeah, this card is fantastic.
Yeah, it's really good. Anything that by itself creates more dudes and starts to go wide, it's one of those things where you're like, okay, we have to answer that.
Yeah, it gets played. Those kind of cards get played in those strategies. That gets us back to the beginning of the list, so we appreciate your time. We appreciate you hanging out with us. Those are our sleeper picks for Born of the Gods. Let us know what you would play. We appreciate it very, very much. Patreon, if you want to support us further, we have that. Link is down below. We stream twice a week over on Twitch, Tuesday and Thursday nights. I'm tapped out. Jake, you got anything else?
We're just gonna keep on chugging along. I think we're gonna be talking about Journey into Nyx.
Yep. Make sure you check out the other videos in this series. We'll catch you later.
Farewell and adios.